Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds, where normally I have 10 or 15 or even more CDs to run through with you guys. I like to get them from different places, my local record store, Amazon, eBay, and more. But for whatever reason, this past week, I only bought one CD. Yes, I know, big shocker, something's wrong with me. It's got to be right. How can I only buy one CD? Just the way the luck of the draw happened, I guess, for this particular past week. I'm going to get into it and kind of explain how that happened, show you what it is, but don't worry, I've also got a few other things to show you guys that were sent to me over this past week. So, pretty good episode here. Stick around for that. We're going to get into it in just a bit. But before we start, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also, leave a comment, hit like. All those things do help my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss a cool episode just like this, where for some reason I only bought one CD, right? How am I going to keep up this collection only buying one CD? Better get back on track next week. All right, so as I said, it's just kind of the way the luck of the draw happened. But something I've been noticing is that there haven't been as many new releases coming out, at least not ones that I'm interested in. So first and foremost, the CD that I bought is not a new release. And that might be the one thing. Sometimes I buy a new release and I get off on a tangent of that and I'm pulling out all the old stuff and I just go down that rabbit hole and there's nothing else from that band to buy. So kind of makes sense, right? But there were no new releases this past week, and it's been pretty dry as of late. Normally, we would have already had a number of big artists drop albums or be looking forward to a number of big albums, and that just hasn't been the case yet. So there hasn't been anything to really sort of pique my interest and get me going. On top of that, or because of that, there hasn't been anything that has really created an interest for me. So I sort of feel like I'm in a bit of a dry spell right now, not really having any one thing to search out. So normally, whereas I'd have a number of things that I would have on order that would be coming in at different times. So even when I'm not buying new releases, there's usually a lot of other stuff that has been on order that would be showing up. And I do have a few things like that with Amazon, but they're still back ordered. Maybe they're going to all show up on one particular day and I'll have more for that week. But so far, not the case. So, one that I did pick up is actually following on something that I showed you guys last week. Picked up this one last week, Running Wild, The Gates of Purgatory, their debut studio album. They're a German metal band that gets credited for being one of the originators of power metal, starting it out. But they also get credit for starting a subgenre of that called power metal. This release, though, happens to have them focusing more on satanic themes and that sort of stuff, not really yet getting into what they would be known for, which wouldn't come until their third album. But I picked this one up. I was really enjoying that, and I already had this one, 20 Years of History, this 2 CD set that had them going back in and covering their whole history. And I picked this one up years and years ago, but they never really clicked with me, so I didn't explore much more than that. But from those two things there, I did get more excited about the band, and this was a release that I came across that kind of intrigued me. So, Running Wild, First Years of Piracy. After reading about this one here and finding out that in the, I think this was very early 90s, like maybe 91 or something, they went back in and re-recorded a bunch of their stuff from the early years because they finally had a stable lineup. And they had now gotten very popular at this point, sort of their run, their height of success from 85 up to about 92. And so I think this is before 92. This is the band re-recording some of that stuff because they're at the pinnacle of where they're at. They're riding on top. And because they've got that now solid lineup, the members aren't changing. And so you really get a killer sounding, it's a best of, but it all sounds consistent all the way through. And so I was very intrigued by that. And this is a reissue put out on Noise Records, their label. And it is the Digipack. I could have ordered an import version that was in a jewel case, but I really wanted the remastered quality of this. And just so you know, if you're picking up any of these that are the remastered ones, they've got some cool photos and stuff that's in here, making this a little bit more. There's no write-up or anything in particular in this, but just the book looks a bit better, and that was just the hype sticker that fell out before on it. So, you know me, I like to keep all those. I keep them inside the CD books. I don't know what you guys do with yours, but that's at least where I keep mine. So, yeah, all in all, picked up this. This was the one CD, but I have to say this. When it first came, I popped it on. It was interesting. It was good. Wasn't doing a whole lot for me, but I put it aside. And then as the week progressed, as there was nothing more that I was getting, and I always pull out a bunch of stuff. So it's not that I don't have stuff to listen to. Obviously, you can see it on the walls. And I'll go through and I'll be, oh, I haven't listened to that one in a while. Or, oh, I just read a news article on that. Let me pull that out. Oh, that band just announced something, or that band is doing a reissue on this album. Let me pull that out. And of course, all the videos that I film for you guys, I'm always pulling out albums that are related to that content and listening to it. So I had that stuff, but I'd listen to it. It was a good album, but it didn't kick off anything. It didn't make me like jump in and dive in, go down a rabbit hole. So all that stuff was going back on the shelf. And I popped this one on because I wanted to hear a little bit more about it, especially before I was going to talk to you guys. And then this thing sounded fantastic, and I listened to it all the way through. And so this one here, interestingly, now the way I view this is that it's got more of a new wave of British heavy metal sound, and it even has more of a Paul Di'Anno fronting the band from Iron Maiden sound to it. So that also really intrigued me. And now I'm enjoying this one even more. And it's made me go back and listen to the two things that I already have. But from this, I've ordered some more stuff. So next week, you're going to see some more Running Wild albums, or at least hopefully if they arrive, coming back into the play. Now, I did mention that I have some other stuff as well that came. So one of my viewers out there, Dave Allen, contacted me and asked me if he could send me a book. He knows that I'm a Def Leppard fan the way that he is, and he wrote this book, Lucky Leopard Fan. So he put this out and he asked if I would be interested. Could he send this along to me? And so this is him sharing his memorabilia collecting and related stories around that. And I actually found it to be very interesting because not only is it cool, it's got a lot of great photos of different things that he's collected over time, had signed, and the stories behind being able to get those signed. But he also has things like this, Lockdown 2020 creation. So during the lockdown, not being able to go places, being on furlough, he created certain things. And being a fan that he is, he created his own leopard merchandise, so to speak. And I thought that was pretty cool. But just all in all, it's very nice. It's a good read. It's fun. It's very personal. So if you want something that's not just historical, that's not just cut and dry, but comes from a fan perspective, Lucky Leopard Fan from Dave Allen, I highly recommend checking it out. It's very cool. It's a short read. It's about 100 pages, give or take, just a little bit over. So it's a nice read. You don't have to get too involved in it. So I want to thank Dave for sending me a copy of this because I did very much enjoy it, being a Leopard fan the way that he is. And then you guys know or often ask where I get my shirts. This one not particular, but I get most of my shirts from a company called Societies. And they contacted me and said, hey, you want to pick a couple of shirts? And I said, absolutely. So I want to show you these shirts that were sent to me. They're going to be part of videos that I'm doing. In fact, one of these, if it hasn't already posted, it will be posting. But AC/DC High Voltage celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. So they said, hey, go pick out a shirt, because they knew that I'd be doing some sort of video relating to that. And this is one of the ones that I wore in that video. I actually already have two other shirts from High Voltage, AC/DC High Voltage. And I wore all three in the video. So that was a lot of fun having that. And they're all from Societies. But I wanted to also just point out on this one, this is what they call green heather. So it's not solid green. It's a more of a textured green. It's got some grays and whites and things running through it. But I also like the simplicity of this because it's just got the High Voltage over where the, the patch, or on the pocket, I guess I should say the pocket would be. And then you got some cool dates and stuff on the back of it. But it's not the typical black concert shirt like the Cheap Trick one is that I'm wearing. All right, another one where they've got a promotion and thing that's coming up on it, although this one here already celebrated its 50th anniversary because the album was from 73, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. And again, I just thought this was a really unique looking shirt. I've got other Dark Side of the Moon shirts and other Pink Floyd shirts and even some from them. But this one here being a blue shirt, very simple logo across the front with the colors of the prism going through it and then stating the Dark Side of the Moon below it. Nothing on the back side of it here. You guys know about my Yes shirt that's blue and my most recent Duran Duran shirt. I love blue. It's my favorite color. And seeing this one here immediately made me think of those shirts, some of my favorite shirts. So I had to add this one to the collection. And this will be popping up in a video as well. Beyond that, certainly, and again, reminder, if you want those, head over to Societies.com, an online t-shirt shop that does really great product, solid, it holds up over time, and it is super soft. They use American Apparel as the shirts themselves that they print on. Okay, and one more thing to show you guys, another shirt. In fact, last week I showed you guys the Metallic Blue Records releases. I talked about these, the Lethal X, Tarzan, and Haven stuff. And as part of getting these, they also sent a shirt. And so I wanted to show you guys this one as well. And this is an interesting one. It's very, very soft, almost has like a silk feel to it. So I don't know what it's actually made of that makes it have that slick sort of soft feeling that is not like cotton. I don't know, I'm sure you guys know, but there's that. And I liked the logo on the back side of it, but also just interesting because it is not a solid black shirt. So this one here, very cool. Want to thank Metallic Blue Records for sending me one of their shirts as well, which will certainly get some love and wear time in music videos as well. I like working with these labels where they've got product and bands that I like that don't get enough love in the normal, regular markets. So if I can help out with that, get that information out to you, I always like that. So certainly head over to their website, metallicbluerecords.com, and you can check out other great albums, not just the 4 that I showed you. They're always got stuff. If you remember a while back, I showed you the Eric Martin Band releases, 2 of them, in fact. They've got another one they're working on. So that one hopefully will be coming out soon. And just some other really great stuff from the website that you can check on. But there you go. I know not a lot of CDs, not a lot of product, not a lot of stuff, but hopefully you still enjoyed the episode and at least a little bit of background about why it was that I only bought one this past week. And hopefully I'll go down some rabbit hole other than the fact that I'm starting to go down a running wild rabbit hole. Who knows where that'll go. I've been on the heavy metal kick for a while now, for probably going on about 2 months, which is a really long time because usually when I get on a kick, it goes a week, 2 weeks. It doesn't go very long, at least not in my opinion. But this whole heavy metal thing with thrash metal, getting into power metal, getting off into pirate metal, getting into all these different subgenres has been a lot of fun. I still am a very big heavy metal fan. And I know most of the time on this channel, I'm talking about classic bands from the 70s and the 80s, and I don't really get into traditional heavy metal and thrash metal and other subgenres of the heavy metal world. So when I do, I enjoy that, and I enjoy you guys coming along for the ride to see what else it is that I am into. And certainly on this channel, if you are relatively new, then I love my alternative rock of the 90s. I love my new wave of the 80s. I love my glam metal. I love my traditional 70s and 80s metal. I love thrash metal. I love classic rock. I like 60s era rock. So a lot of different stuff within the musical world falls under the banner of stuff that I like and listen to. And all that sort of stuff, if you're tuning into these regular episodes of New Music Finds, then you're seeing it every week because you're watching the collection grow and you're watching what I'm into and hearing about why it is that I'm picking this stuff up. And I know a ton of you guys are tuning in, and so certainly thank you for that. But also, if you are new to this episode or series and you haven't been tuning in, this is a great place to keep up to date on all that sort of stuff, finding out not only what's new, but what other stuff that I'm into that is driving my collection, but also the channel and the stuff that you're seeing on it. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good one. And I'll see you next week with hopefully somewhere between 10 and 15 CDs. Maybe I'll like right the ship and I'll have 30 next week. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All right, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.